this is Dumont, and today I want to do a review of Freezer. Now, in order to do a good review of Freezer, I felt like I needed to bring out Tentacleer because they are so similar in concept, design, and whatnot. So here they are. Basically, the transformation for Freezer is very, very simple. The only thing that makes them a little bit complicated is the tentacles themselves, because they have a joint here and then they have that extra flappy thing right there, and because of it his transformation isn't always 100%. It doesn't always completely open up, but it's still, I guess, a simple transformation overall, at least in idea wise. Similar to Tentacleer. They both have 6 tentacles, and I have to say that Freezer's tentacles look much better than Tentacleer's. Personally, the fact that these last flappy parts, sometimes they don't open 100%, to me that's fine. It's not a big deal. That's not a big enough minus for me to complain about. So I do like Freezer's tentacles better. Now, one of the main things about Freezer is this part right here, okay? His brain is visible, and let me try to show that to you guys right there. Yeah, you can see that yellow part right there, and it has some nice detail on there to make it look all brainy. Well, I believe Freezer is the first Bakugan where he has a transformation button, so his brain does that. You don't need the gate card to open him up, so that is super awesome. So basically, once Freezer opens up and once Tentacleer opens up, they're both kind of like supposed to look a little bit creepy. For Freezer, what they did was obviously they added the brain part, and when you push down on it, you can see his the other 4 of his eyes on the top, they become visible. So he has 4 eyes, and Tentacleer obviously shows his one old big old eye. Which one is creepier? It's a hard call. It really is a hard call. I'd have to say Bakugan wise, just detail wise, Freezer comes out better. For Tentacleer, I think he had an excellent potential, but for one thing, these screw holes right there really ruin it for the eye, at least for me. And I think they could have done something a little bit cooler looking for the eye itself. Freezer, on the other hand, I think he has better looking tentacles. Just like I said, the overall detail. He has like this cool looking respirator thing. It's like a mask piece, which, you know, it doesn't even make sense to me, but that's probably the one thing on him that actually looks really mechanical. So that's pretty cool. Aside from his, I guess, his exposed brain, which makes him look kind of like Frankenstein, or reminds me of Frankenstein. So that's really, really awesome. He has like this whole, I guess, kind of like a Halloween effect to him because of that. And the 4 eyes, you know, he's definitely a monster. You know, that really reeks out of him. So Freezer, I know before he was released, was kind of popular. A lot of people were interested in him. And once he was released, you know, I have to say that he does live up to the expectations. He is a very neat looking Bakugan. Obviously, very clearly, he is some type of octopus. Even though he only has 6 tentacles, you totally get the idea that he's supposed to be some type of octopus. I think there's no mistake. His shape that he has is kind of cutesy, but it also looks cool because of a lot of details on him. Tentacleer, really, I really feel that the details in his tentacles, I mean, it's just kind of like etched on here, and it's feels like a lot more lacking, you know, because unless someone told you these were tentacles, I mean, they could just be flaps, you know, so there's a little bit of minus there. He is very interesting because of the creepy eye, you know, he's another creepy Bakugan. So they both have that same kind of effect, but I do think Freezer is like the improved version of Tentacleer. if you flip him upside down, he does have a cool jellyfish mode, as I've mentioned before. This was taught to me by Masquerade. And if you have him just normal, right, I have to say that he's really fun to spin. He's a very good spinning Bakugan. Personally, I like to spin him on the metal gate card so he doesn't go everywhere. If you spin him on just regular solid ground, you know, like a top, he's gonna move around. But on the gate card, he'll stay solid. So just looking at Fraser here, I definitely think that he makes for a very cool monster Bakugan. Monster as in this Frankenstein type brain factor, and also his 4 eyes, and just the mechanical aspect with the respirator and tentacles. Tentacles it's creepy, you know. I think it's more freaky and more scary than like claws or something. And on top of that, his name is very interesting, Freezer. I don't know why he's named Freezer, but when you think of the word, or when you think of the name Freezer, I think the main villain in Dragon Ball Z, Freezer, is the one that at least I think about. And Freezer, if you're not familiar with, was a huge enemy, very powerful. Huge meaning not literally big, but was just an extremely powerful villain. Of course, they came up with way more powerful villains later on, but Freezer was one of those that was just like, where people were like, oh my gosh, can there be a villain more powerful than this? So Freezer set the standards for extremely powerful villains. So for this Bakugan to have that same name, and then to have like this cool looking monster form, it just goes very well together. And at least it makes me have high expectations of his character.